What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back to Omar BYT. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new episode of Beyond the Pitch, ladies and gentlemen. This is a Barcelona themed edition, guys. Make sure you guys like the stream. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys turn on notifications, guys. But yeah, man, we are back on Beyond the Pitch Barca edition. And before we get started, guys, I need to introduce my co-host today on the Beyond the Pitch show, Barcelona boy. Big up, Afed, man. What's going on with you, man?
I'm doing good, bro. Doing good. I have one of the best week and a half of my life. I'm chilling. How about you?
Bro, same here too, man. Football is beautiful these days, man. Football is great, man. It's
Mhm.
just great to just it's just great to wake up and just know that your team is great. You feel me? It's been a
I hear
while.
you,
It's been a
man.
while. And
It's been
listen,
a
we're gonna
minute.
be
It's been a minute.
shameless. And we're gonna be shameless, bro. Because listen, we've
Of
had to take
course.
a lot of the criticism, man. Too many people have been laughing at us and sleeping on us for too long. So now we are here. We are back. Right? So people are gonna have to hold that. But listen, man, listen. Before we get started, guys, listen. If you guys are not subscribed to Barcelona Boy, I don't know what you guys are doing, man. Make sure you guys go subscribe to my guy. The link to his channel is in the title, guys. Make sure you guys go subscribe to him, guys. But listen, this is Beyond the Pitch, man. But before we do get started talking about the other stuff, I do want to talk about some news that's recently come out at Barcelona. And the big news is Fermin Lopez has signed a new deal until 2029. How did you feel about that when you heard that?
I felt great. I think it was agreed about a month ago, but it took a while for it to be finalized and stuff like that. But very, very happy, of course, after his breakthrough season last year. He also renewed his contract in September last year after his great preseason. So, being rewarded for what you do in the pitch of Barcelona, you, of course, love to see it. Locking down a player who had a lot of interest in the summer as well. Who right now you could say is playing second fiddle, second place to Denny Olmo. So the fact that, you're spurring away interest. He's committed as well. So you know what, I have competition, but that's what Barcelona's all about. Um, you love to see it.
No, absolutely, bro. At the end of the day, it's just at the end of the day, listen, squad depth is as fans, we want squad depth. I feel like in the beginning of the season, that's my biggest criticism I had of the club, where I felt like we did not have enough squad depth. You understand what I'm saying, right?
Mhm.
We basically didn't sign anyone. We basically lost a lot of players. And considering the season we had last season, as a Barca fan, it's quite easy for us to be very, very pessimistic about this season. And that's how I feel a lot of Barca fans were. Listen, I admit that I was one of them. Obviously, I don't wish my club to ever fail. Absolutely not. I want my club to always have the best chances of winning. But this is the thing. At the end of the day, I was realistic, right? But at the end of the day, this is for me a good thing because we saw Fermin Lopez during the Olympic Games. We saw him last season, right? From that preseason all the way to the beginning of the season, this guy was just he was the breakout star. He was the guy. He went up above and beyond, and we saw him in the Olympic Games. He was incredible in that. He came in the beginning of the season, suffered an injury, but took a injury setback. He's back now, and to seal a player like him, a player of his stature, a player of his talent, to keep him around it's only good news for us. That's why I really think.
Yep. I could have said it better myself.
No, completely here. But listen, at the end of the day, it's been a great week. Let's be real. As a Barca fan, it's been a beautiful week, man. Like how did last week at this time we obviously started our week after we beat Sevilla in the league 5-1, right? And then
Mhm.
we went to the Champions League, Ahmed, and we played a team that we are, as Barcelona fans, very, very much familiar with. We don't really like them. In fact, we really hate them now. Like these guys have given me too much PTSD, and we we did what we had to do, man. We finally beat our demons. Finally, we finally did it. Like honestly, that victory, you should have seen my reaction was showed everything, man. The fact that we won, it wasn't that we won that made me happy. It's the way we won. Like
Mhm.
every time I play against these pricks, bro, we are always getting destroyed. It's not that we lose, nah. It's not that we lose respectfully, nah. These guys take their time to literally make us a laughing stock every single time.
you
And
keep you're giving me flashbacks now. So you're going into too
no,
much detail.
bro, I don't. No, trust me, bro. As a Barca fan, you know what I'm talking about. That's why I'm not even mentioning their name. I don't even want
Mm.
to mention their name because you know what they are, bro. We all know who they are. But look, at the end of the day, as a Barca fan, it's the way that we played. And going forward, we've been scary under this new management, this new style, right? We were taking our chances. Like you see how much of a threat we are. It's not that we're just winning. It's that we're not even like wasteful. And speaking of wasteful, I know people are gonna say, "Oh, you saw what happened in the El Clasico." Yes, I did. But at the end of the day, I'm being very realistic when I say this. Ahmed. We just want. At the end of the day, we've been very very clinical, right? And
Yep.
that's why we're scoring ridiculous amounts of goals, because people think
Hmm.
that we're creating so many chances. We're not. We create a lot of chances, but we are very clinical with our chances when we get them. And I think a lot of people finally started to see that during the El Clasico, right? But before we do get to the El Clasico, in the game against Bayern, we started literally just like that. From the first few seconds, we scored an early goal. And you were thinking, oh shit, we've actually scored against Bayern, man. We're actually in the lead. What is going on here? And then when they equalize, you're thinking, no, come on, man. But at the end of the day, I feel like Hansi Flick played a good plan against these guys, which is that he understood that Bayern Munich were going to come in with high energy, high intensive kind of football. And he just basically wanted to tire them out. That's why you saw in the first 30 minutes, they were the ones dominating. But once we got to that 30-minute mark, you could see it in the Bayern Munich players that they were getting exhausted. And you
Hmm.
saw after that, when we scored that second, we went and scored the third. They were completely exhausted. They could not come back into the game. And we ended up winning the game 4-1. What did you think of the game, honestly?
I don't think a lot of people say that we destroyed Bayern Munich and stuff like that. I don't think we destroyed them like we did, of course, the other team that we'll talk about
Mm-hmm.
later on. But I feel like we just played our game plan and they fell for the trap. I thought it was going to be a lot like the PSG game last season at home, especially when Harry Kane made a 1-1. I'm thinking, oh shit, here we go again. They were on top of us. They were getting chance after chance after chance, but the high line was surviving. And then all of a sudden, we flicked the switch and we started to gain some possession, control the game. And then after that, it was our game, all the way to the end. I think that I respect Hansi Flick for sticking to his philosophy, his style of play, no matter what, no matter the vulnerabilities, no matter how risky it is. He sticks with his gun. I respect that. Of course, if we lose the game, we then criticize Flick, saying why don't you change stuff like that. You mentioned a good point about this team is not creating a ridiculous amount of chances. We're just being so clinical. And that was our main problem last season. Look at the games. We were winning games
Yeah.
2-1, 1-0, losing. But we create. That's why Xavi always came out in the press conferences afterwards saying that, oh, I think we played well, just couldn't, create and finish. We just lacked we were so indecisive in the final third. And also the back were making so many mistakes as well. So that was our downfall last season. I think that's the first thing that Hansi Flick came in and improved upon. So I
Mhm.
think, the team is the team is the same as last season, just plus Danny Olmo really. And if you want to count Bao
Bro, that's what I keep
Victor.
saying. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
so
What's crazy, Ahmed, isn't it?
mhm,
Like, this is the same team that we had last season plus Danny Olmo. In fact, we've
exactly.
lost players. Think about it. There's no Joao Cancelo. There's no Joao Felix. There's no Sergio Roberto. There's so many
Some
players
players came back from
who go
loan
on.
too, like Pablo Torre, Ansu Fati, Casado got promoted, but from the
Yes,
dynamics, only really Denny Olmo was added.
exactly. And
Mhm.
this is why, for me, I always say that most of the credit should go to the manager, because at the end of the day, it's the manager who's come in and changed everything. And listen, I love Xavi. And listen, a big part of me was happy that Xavi left, because I didn't want to get to a point where I wanted to say Xavi out. Right? This guy is a legend. This guy, I love this player. And it's one of those where, I didn't want to get to that point where I'm gonna start calling out this manager. Oh, shit. What's going on? Is that? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. It might have been me.
Can you hear me?
But yeah, I can hear. I can hear you.
Okay.
Basically, my point is right. When Xavi was there, I feel like we did. He kind of took us as far as he could. You understand what I'm saying? And even he
Hmm.
admitted that he had done enough. He didn't feel like he could do anymore. And listen, huge credit to him. He did his thing. He absolutely, he won a league. At the end of the day, he came in, right, won us a league, and at the end of the day, he performed. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, sorry. Am I still lagging to you,
No, no,
Ahmed?
you're good. You're good.
Okay. Yeah. So that's the point, right? At the end of the day, he won a league. He came in. He came in what in 2021, end of
Yeah,
2021.
November 2021. Yep.
So he arrived end of 2021.
Mhm.
He won us. He won us. He won the league. Did he win another trophy? Did he win the
Yeah, he won the Super Cup too against
Yeah.
Madrid.
So if you gauge the three years he was at the club, right? Basically 2.5 years he was at the club, bro. His time was a success. You understand what I'm saying? And that's how
Mhm.
I look at his time. And I'm like, listen, at the end of the day, as a Barcelona fan, I will always remember him for those moments. You understand what I'm saying, right? He gave me those moments, and at the end of the day, he left at the right time. He didn't want to get to a point where they always say you can either die a hero or live long enough to become the villain. And I don't.
Yeah.
I feel like a Barca fans, we don't want to get to a point where we're calling out Xavi's name. You understand what I'm saying? He's done enough for
Mhm.
the club to not have to leave on that kind of level, right? And he did leave at the end of the season. We brought in Hansi Flick. And from the moment Hansi Flick came in, I rated this manager. I saw what he did at Bayern. I'm not dumb. People kind of looked at his time at Germany
Germany.
as
Yeah.
and it's like, bro, I've been watching football long enough to know some managers are not cut out for international football, and there's some that are not cut out for club football. Just because he failed for Germany doesn't mean he's going to fail for club level. We've seen what he's done at Bayern Munich. Are we all just going to ignore what he did at Bayern Munich? And at the end of the day, that's why I wanted the club to back him. And that's why I was calling out the club from the beginning of the season. I was going after the club saying, yo, where are the signings? What is he gonna do? I want to get to a point where I feel like we can at least challenge Real Madrid, right? But
Mhm.
this manager is an absolute genius. This guy come in, he has had like I keep saying this, bro. We've How many injuries have we had in our team since the beginning of the season?
But Gavi, Arujo, Christensen, Fermin got injured, Olmo, Bernal, Ter Stegen, at least 7. Unless I'm forgetting somebody. Varane injured right now, 8.
I
Hansi
think
got
we had
injured, 9.
9. So
Let's
yeah,
say
that was
10. Let's say
so
10.
basically. So yeah, so in the beginning of the season, we had 9 injuries, 9, right? First team players, not starting 11, first team players, right?
Mhm.
9 players who were out injured, and this manager decided to bring in Mark Bernal. He brought in Casado. He gave chances to Pablo Victor, Pablo Torre, all of these players, right? And this is why I don't listen to a lot of people who give the excuse of injuries. Because why have been Barcelona been using that excuse? We had the perfect excuse to say, "Oh, we're not gonna have a good season. This is why we're not having a good season because we don't have any good players in our team. Most of our players are out injured already, right?" But at the end of the day, this manager has come in his first season, by the way. In his first 3 games, you could see he was experimenting, right? We didn't play well in our first 3 games, right? We won our 3 games 2-1 on our first 3 games, but you
Yeah.
could see he was trying to basically gauge what kind of setup or which players he can trust before the other players come back. And you saw the switch. You saw that switch from the moment we went from that game against Rayo Vallecano to the game against Valladolid. We won 7-0, and that was it. GG's. He finally found the team he finally found the formation that works. And you saw after the international break, we came back, we beat Girona 5-1 instantly, right? We beat
Mhm.
Villarreal 5-1. We just beat Madrid 4-0. We beat Sevilla 5-1. People need to understand, and this is not normal. We are beating teams and we're destroying them. And that's what gives me hope for the rest of the season, where I'm like, I feel like we can compete because at the end of the day, it's not that we're winning, it's the way we're winning. What
Mhm.
gives me the confidence. What do you think?
Yeah, I fully agree. I mean, just to go back to your earlier point of the time of Xavi, I was very much adamant that I wanted Xavi to stay because I thought the players just really underperformed last season. I thought if you
Mm-hmm.
gave Xavi the same core and give him one more go, I think he deserves it. Things would have changed. I wasn't upset with Xavi being sacked. I was more upset with the way it was treated, the way that Laporta handled it. But
Yes,
even
yes.
when Flick came in, I said, you know what? I'd rather, because a lot of talk at the time was Rafa Marquez, the B team manager at the time. I said, look, I'll take Flick over Rafa Marquez all day, but Flick doesn't wow me. I was one of those people who was, looking at his German career saying that, look, I know it's international football, but still, how you have this kind of good team and he performed this
Mm-hmm.
poorly. It wasn't that like he was mid or something like that. He was just doing really, really bad. And when he comes in and you see,
Right.
high line, you see him adapting to the double pivot as well, playing like eights and tens in the double pivot, which was a bit strange to begin with, but it's all about the philosophy and position, not more so the profile. And like you said, we narrowly beat the first 3 games 2-1. What was it? Valencia, Athletic Club, Vallecano. Then after, just before the international break, 7-0, and then everything after that. clicks. So I mean, it's risky football. And the thing is with the flick style of play, it is easy to penetrate. It's easy to beat, but
Hmm.
it's hard to execute. So it's like me telling you, okay, if you want to be jacked, all you have to do is work out, but you have to work out 5 days 5 times a day for a year.
Hmm.
So the way to beat the flick system is again to beat the ball over the top, beat the high line, stay compressed, and also when Barcelona have possession or when they regain possession from a high press, you have to double press them immediately because that's when Barcelona is at their most vulnerable. So again, it's easy to exploit, but it's hard to execute, and that's why he was so successful with Bayern Munich at the time. Also, during COVID, everyone was sick, so pressing it then was pretty hard at the time, but
Exactly, bro.
but yeah, he's done an unbelievable job. Again, it's only been about a quarter of the season, but may long it continue.
No, absolutely. And for me, right now, we'll go to the Madrid game now, right? When you saw against Madrid, you exactly the points that you were making is what basically I feel like Ancelotti was trying to do. He was trying to take advantage of the fact that we play a high line. I feel like that's why. And if you guys see my preview, I said that we were gonna play a he was gonna play a diamond where he was gonna put both Vinny and Mbappe as the two front lines. And the reason he's gonna do that is because we're playing a high line and those players are fast. The problem is he didn't take into account that he had two players who have the IQ of a flipping baby. Like seriously, how do you get caught offside 8 times? Like at the end of the day, bro, if we're being real, they should have scored. They should have had so many goals because they were literally we were playing such a high line in the game. But it's the same thing we mentioned, right? Yes, it's easy if you know how to basically play against our high line. Yes, you can find a way to score. Absolutely. But the problem is this also, right? When we have the ball, if you slip just one, all it takes is for you to mess up once, and we are in. And once we're in, it's like a shark in the water once he smells blood. They just go crazy. You just see the pack start coming. You understand what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
saw in the first 30 minutes against Madrid, right? Madrid literally, like, I think the first chance of the game, Mbappe missed a sitter, but it was offside. But that was basically where I was like, oh no, this is gonna be one of those games. They're just gonna be playing the high line and they're gonna score. And they had a goal ruled offside by Mbappe. But after that first 30 minutes, you could see that the players, the team had an idea, right? They understood, like, they had an idea of how to play against Madrid. After the first 30 minutes, you saw how this match was beginning to shift to our favor. We were beginning to create chances. And at the end of that first half, we actually the ones creating most of the chances around the end of that first half. We go to the second half, and literally it's the same thing. We just started as we mean to go on. We started the same way. And this is what is most important. We got the first goal, which crazy enough, if you see that goal, it just shows you the intelligence of having when you have an intelligent striker. You understand what I'm saying, right?
World
Because
class striker, yeah.
world class strikers, their positioning is so incredibly acute. Like, did you saw the line, bro? When they fixed the line, Vasquez and Ferland Mendy, he was literally like this. But it
Hmm.
shows you, man. That's how good of a striker this guy is. He's a world class, experienced striker who has played against different kinds of defenses. Right?
Yeah.
He understood where the line was, so he stood where he stood, and that's why when you saw when he got the ball, they were screaming offside, but he already knew, man. That's why he continued and he scored the goal. And when we got that goal, I was like, oh my days. One of two things is gonna happen. We're either gonna score a second goal quickly, or we're gonna wake them up. And thankfully for me, these guys, it seems like they were still like on a hangover from the first goal because we literally let us in. Bro, that second goal was so ridiculously easy. Just one cross into
Mhm.
the box, Lewandowski, and it's 2-0. And from that moment, I was like, yeah, this game is gonna be we're gonna dominate now, right?
Well, marking, man,
Bro,
marking.
their marking was incredibly awful, bro.
I know.
Dude, and you know
If
what?
you
Don't get
watch
it.
the second half, you would see that the two players that cost Madrid the game were Vasquez and Luden. Luden had a stinky performance in goal. If it was Courtois, I think we would have won maybe
Mhm.
2-3-0, maybe not 4. But Vasquez was just
Yeah.
so bad. Oh my god, he got turned by Rafinha so many times. That's if you look at all the goals, they're all starting on that left hand side. So for the Lewandowski one, it's to the line free kick, but Vasquez steps out to keep it onside. Second one, ball they cross from the left. The Lamine Yamal one, Rafinha runs from the left, passes it to Yamal, and then the fourth goal, Rafinha is running from the left. It's all from the side of Vasquez. He had an utter stinker, but
And you
I'll
know
take
what's
it.
funny? I was actually talking to my guy Sam, who's a Madrid fan, and you know what he was saying to me? He was like, "Bro, because against Dortmund, he was awful in that game, even though he scored." And he was like, "Bro, if Vasquez plays against you guys, I'm worried. I am so worried." And it seems like Barcelona even knew. They were like, "Yep, we know who to attack during the game," and we went after him, man. Like that. Don't get it twisted, right? That whole defense, bro, they fell off after that second half. Like Rudiger, Eder Militao, bro, their whole defense just crumbled. But listen, at the end of the day, I feel like this is why people need to watch out for us this season, because if anything that game showed you is that you do not want to give us opportunities. If you even you need to be basically 10 out of 10 in defense if you play against Barca. If you watch the game against Bayern, that's what happened, right? We didn't create a lot of chances in that game, but every time we went forward, we scored. Why? Because at the end of the day, that's how clinical we are. So at the end of the day, for someone like Real Madrid, I feel like for me, I've been vindicated because as Barca fans, we see what Madrid do, right? And throughout the season, even some Madrid fans, if they're honest with themselves, they will admit they have not started the season well at all. You understand what I'm saying, right? They've
Yep.
won games, they were undefeated in the league. That's all good and great. But I'm like, have you been watching these guys? Did you watch them against Real Sociedad when Real Sociedad hit the crossbar 3 times? Did you watch them against Las Palmas when they were getting dominated and could have easily lost that game? Did you watch them against Real Betis, right? When they were getting dominated until they scored the goal? Did you watch the game against Alaves at home where they were 3-0 up and they nearly bottled it when Alaves scored twice? Did you guys see those moments? These guys don't watch those parts. And I'm like, as a Barca fan, I can be confident of beating this Madrid team because I've seen that these guys create, they're wasteful. They give away too many chances to the opponent. And if they give us those chances, you can bet your bottom dollar that we are going to make them pay. And that's what happened. That 4-0, as much as I was surprised that we won by 4, I feel like it's the perfect result to show everybody just how good we are and just how much this Madrid team have been fraudulent. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep, yeah, I couldn't agree more. Even in the summer when they signed Mbappe, I tweeted, I said, Madrid are going to flop this season. I said, Mbappe will get like maybe 10, 15 goals in all competition, but they're going to flop. They have too many good players. Look at all the Galacticos they've had over the past few years. You can't even look at PSG when they had Messi, Suarez, Neymar. When you have too good of a team, it never works out. The most important thing is to find balance. On the Madrid game, like you mentioned in your preview, even in my preview, I got the lineup 100% correct as my prediction. I knew he was going to go with the diamond. But
Mhm.
Ancelotti, he loves to overthink Clásicos for some sort of reason. Even under Xavi's first Clásico, he overthought it, playing a 4-4-2, and we beat them 4-0 when Ferran Torres scored in the yellow kit. And this game was the same thing. I think the first half was quite even,
Mhm.
but second half, once Lewandowski scored, they just fell apart and they just lacked so much confidence and momentum from their side. If you know, but the Mbappe goal was onside, maybe the Vinicius chance he scored it could
Yeah.
have been different, but I still felt like Barcelona would have won that game. But the first half was so even. I think both teams had good chances, and
Mhm.
then the second half we just absolutely cooked them.
No, and that is 100% fact. And also, you just mentioned it, right? This is the same thing I was saying. I was saying the same thing you were. I told people, I said, I've been watching Barca since 2005, 6, when I started watching Barca, right? And when I started watching football, I was used to see the Madrid team. They had Zidane, they had R9, they had Beckham, they had Raul, they had all of these superstars, right? But anyone who was old enough to remember that Galacticos knows that yes, they started well in the beginning, but it completely fell off by 2006 when I started watching football. And the reason why it fell off is because you can get all these superstars, but the problem with having too many superstars in your team is that you have too many egos. You understand what I'm saying, right? And when
Yeah,
you have too
perfect.
many egos, you know what you're gonna have? You're gonna have players who all want to be the main man. And when you have too many players that want to be the main man, then you have a problem. You understand what I'm saying? You
Yeah,
see in Barca, when we had MSN, the difference was this. We had Messi, Suarez, and Neymar, who, don't get it twisted, all 3 players, world class. But one thing they all acknowledged was that Messi was the guy in that Barca team. They
that's why
all
Neymar
understood.
left.
But that's the thing. At the end of the day, he eventually left. But what did that do for his career? Let's be real.
Nothing. No,
And that's
but I'm agreeing with your point. He left because he knew Messi was king. He knew that nobody in this team would touch it. What was great about MSN was not only the front three was world class, but the
mhm,
balance in the team, but also everyone knew and respected their roles. Messi's the king. Suarez, MSN, give them the ball, they do their magic. Rakitic is the workhorse, Iniesta the creator, Busquets the conductor. Everyone knew what they did, and everyone was happy with their roles as well. I'm Rakitic. Yeah, I'll give the ball. MSN, they do all the work. I get the trophies, no problem. Everyone, loved that balance. Neymar, people got into his head, so he didn't want to be. He knew that, look, at Barcelona, no one's going to overtake Messi. He wanted to be the main man. Fair enough. He went to PSG. His career sucked. He flopped. Good riddance to him. But everyone knew their roles. And this
mhm.
Madrid team, everyone wants to be the main man. There's now rumors about Bellingham. He wants to go play in the front three now again, so he can score a goal. He's not scored a goal this season. He has like 2 assists. Chouameni now is not good enough. He's up for sale. And Mbappe not performing well. At the end of the day, if you're smart and you look at it,
Mhm.
Real Madrid is Vinicius' team. He's the main man. So
Yes.
you have to fit the team and the system best for him. When you're playing him off the left and you have also Mbappe starting as the striker but drifting as a left forward, taking the space from Vinicius, it's not going to work out. Yeah, they'll celebrate with each other and he'll give him penalties, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, system wise, it's not going to work. I think it actually would work better if they put Mbappe off the right hand side and then put a natural striker. Let's say for example like Jose Lu, the striker they had last season,
The problem
someone like
is,
that.
in,
But they're not
the
going to do that
problem,
because they want the big
yes.
names, they want the big stars, and it's not going to. I don't think. I mean, look, when teams are this good, they can still win. Yes, the Galacticos they won one Champions League, they won I think the league a year later, but they
Mhm.
will not all do it at once, and they will struggle.
No, and that's absolutely true, isn't it? At the end of the
Mhm.
day, I don't think even if you put Mbappe on the right, I think that Mbappe's best role is either on the left or as behind another striker. And the problem is, this Madrid team are not going to buy the striker that Mbappe needs to unlock Mbappe. And then definitely not going to play him on the left because that's Vinicius' position. You understand what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
the point that you used about Neymar is actually a very good point. See, the thing with Neymar was he was a very impatient player. If Neymar understood, okay, even though yes, Messi is the king, I am a few years younger than Messi, right? Messi was already in his 30s. He was 30 years old. Neymar was what, 25, 26 when he left us? You understand what I'm saying, right? So he had time. And I think that's what he didn't realize. He had time that Messi didn't have. If he understood that eventually I would be king, I'm the prince and I'm the guy who's going to take the crown eventually. You understand what I'm saying? And that's
Mhm.
what Barca did when he was at our club. He was going to be the king. We, as Barca fans, we understood and then Messi was the king, but Neymar was the prince who was going to be king one day, right? The
Yep.
problem was he was impatient and he wanted to be king ASAP. And unfortunately for him, that's why his career went where he went. We can all look at our time at Barca and say, yes, we were never the same after he left. That's true. We did not win the Champions League after he left. That's all true, right? We've won league titles. Yes, that's true. But if you look at Neymar's reason for leaving Barca, it was to create a name for himself. Where has his career gone since he's left us? Right? Everyone who saw him go to PSG, even non-Barca fans, all agreed that you can leave Barca if you want, but going to PSG, with all due respect to PSG, it's not exactly the move that people were looking at as the, oh wow, he actually went to PSG. Whoa, this is crazy. You understand what I'm saying? Right?
Mhm.
If he left Barca and he going to the Premier League or somewhere like that, people might have been like, he shouldn't have left, but we understand, right? But he did what he did, and what did that bring him? Nothing. At the end of the day, and that is what is unfortunate for him. But look, I look at this Real Madrid team, and I say the same thing, which is that from the moment this season started, all as Barca fans we've heard is, how are you guys going to deal with Madrid? Madrid is going to win everything. They won the league and the Champions League last season. Now they've just added Mbappe. Now this and this and this. What's funny is that just like you, I was just like you. I didn't think Mbappe. I'm not saying Mbappe is going to flop at Real Madrid and he's going to fail at Madrid. I'm not saying that, right? But this idea that he's going to come in and then just
I
like
love
that.
the pressure. I think the pressure's with killing Madrid as well. They just won the double, the league and Champions League. They had the best player in the world. I mean, how are you not going to do a treble? The only thing that we have over them is that they've never done it in a season. From the start of football in 1899 till now, they've never won all trophies in one season. They think this is their moment. They have the best team in the world, so many big superstars. They add the best player in the world on paper to their team. That pressure alongside how well Barcelona are doing is cooking them. Like the thing with Neymar, just quickly, is that the remontada against PSG really screwed him because a lot of people had like Messi on the front cover of their paper. He's like,
Yes.
"Oh, I was one that carried the comeback," blah blah blah. But like the story about if you ask me to summarize Neymar's career in one sentence, I think everyone would say this: he was the prince that never became king.
Yep.
That's his own frailty. He wants to move on, and then remember, everyone who leaves Barcelona in their peak always regret it. How many every summer since Neymar left, he tried to come back to Barcelona. Every single summer until like the last 2 years, where he kind of just gave up, like it's over at that point because Messi, Suarez all left and stuff like that. Look at all the players who've left Barcelona and see how well they did. Look at Mark Guiu last summer as a perfect example. A nice upcoming striker that would have gotten a lot of game time at Barcelona. He
This
went to go for
season,
the
yeah.
money to Chelsea. He's not played 1 second for Chelsea. He's not even in their squad list. He's running his career. Crack on. You think I care? No. Yeah, Pau Victor
Ilash
was coming.
Moriba, another one. Remember
Another
Ilash?
good one as well.
Bro, that
Wanted
kid,
money. We said nope, no money for you.
he
You
was
can
he was
leave.
bro, he was the highest paid player in La Masia,
Yeah, he got
in
the
our
biggest. He
academy.
still to this day has he got the biggest contract in La Masia history.
That's the crazy thing. This kid had everything in his hands, and he ended up messing it up, all because he had people in his ear who were not good for him. Like at the end of the day, listen, good riddance to all of these players. I've never been a guy who's ever been. Listen, I don't believe any player is bigger than the club. All right. At the
Of
end of the
course,
day, as a
that's why
Barca
Messi
fan,
left.
I've seen exactly. That's why at the end of the day, listen, there are some players when they leave, we are sad. When Messi left, I was completely sad and devastated. Right.
Of course.
But we understood that football is like this. We're not always gonna have this football forever. We would love for them to retire at the club, but listen, football doesn't work like that all the time. It's better there to have players, legends who retire at the club. Even Xavi, who's a legend at our club, never retired at the club.
hmm
Iniesta didn't retire at the club. All of these guys left. Even Busquets, he's now at Inter Miami,
I
right?
think the last player to retire was PK. Then before that was Aguero. It's very rare to retire at Barcelona. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I feel like as as um as a football fan, you just have to enjoy these players while they're here. Certain footballers, you can just see the direction that they go in, and you're just like, bro, what are you doing? Like the whole Elias Moriba thing was the perfect example. I'm like, bro, you do realize where you play, right? There is no bigger club than this. Wherever you go, I'm not saying that you're gonna fail in your career, but my point is, this is the peak. It's just like this is the peak of your power. If you leave us, you're taking a downgrade, and that's on you. And so for someone like Ilash, who was already on in the starting 11, he was already in the starting 11. He was playing games for the first team. Why are you forcing your way out, bro? I don't care what your agent, your family, anyone is telling you, bro. You're playing for Barcelona at the age of what, 18, 19, bro. You're living the dream. If I'm them, I'm like, listen, man, do you guys realize I'm actually playing as a teenager for Barcelona? I'm already living my dream. What's the big deal? It's the same thing when you see guys like Gavi. When Gavi got into the first team, the season after Ilash left, right?
Yeah.
And you saw Gavi from the moment Gavi came in, he took his chances. You're seeing Fermin Lopez now. Fermin Lopez knows he has a future at the club. The club have told him that, yeah, you are one of our own. You're going to be given an opportunity and a chance. Yeah, there's all these midfielders, but you are actually one of our golden boys. And he understands that, yep, I am going to be given a chance. And at the end of the day, he's a Barca boy. These players want to make it at the club. That's why some of these youngsters, when they start forcing their way out, bro, I'm like, bro, just leave. That's why the whole thing with Ilash, when it became an issue, I was like, bro, go. Seriously, just leave, man. Just leave. Because at the end of the day, man, I need players who want to play for the club. I have no patience or any time to be dealing with players who are sitting there asking for wage. Bro, you want to wage increase? Leave. Leave, please.
It
And
wasn't
that's
just about asking for a wage increase. It was just the ridiculous demands that he was asking for as a youngster. I mean, you're sitting there playing week in, week out with Messi. You're winning the Copa del Rey. Then you go and you ask for like this kind of money. We got 50 million for him. That's probably the best 50 million we ever got in his life. He's absolutely flopped. I think he's at Celta Vigo now, this season. I mean, again, there is no peak of football better than Barcelona. Yeah, you can say Madrid. You can make a good argument for that. But all those
yeah,
players
of
go
course.
there for like 2-3 years and they leave. If you want to make a legacy, Barcelona is always a place. And every player who's left Barcelona in their prime when they were in a good moment have always failed. And that's simple as that. Whether you look at Neymar, Mariba, Guayu from last season, um, even maybe Artur when he left Barcelona, although he was kind of forced out, wasn't
Yeah,
his
he was kind of
decision.
forced out. I could
Yeah,
not really put too much
stuff
blame
like that.
on him.
Always,
Yeah.
always comes down to the because Barcelona they give you the chance, they nourish you, They give you a path. They'll say, okay, you failed this time, but we'll give you another chance. Keep going, keep going. No other club does that. Look at all the other clubs in the world and see how they treat their academies. They have maybe one talent come up every 5, 6 years, 10 years. We have one coming up, maybe one or two a season, because we nurture, we trust, and we give them the platform. So you
Yeah.
want to leave that, crack on, but it's always going to be not the downfall of your career, but you'll never reach your
You never
career
reach.
peak that
Yes.
you would do.
Let's be real. Barcelona, and people think that. Well, you know what's funny? As Barca fans, when we say this, people think that we're being arrogant. But what do you mean? At the end of the day, think about it. If you're a player that plays for Manchester United, Manchester City, Chelsea, whatever club you play for, right? If you're looking for an upgrade in your career, where do you go to? Barca or Madrid? Barca or Madrid. That's where, like, every time, look, think about it, right? When Suarez left Liverpool, where did he go to? Barcelona. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That was a step up. That was a step up for his career, right? Mbappe leaving PSG to go to where? Madrid. Hazard, when he left Chelsea, he went to where? Madrid. You understand what I'm saying, right? That is the upgrade. So if you're a youngster and you're given a chance, and this is why, if you look at it now, think about it. Like, I talk to a lot of like people like who I'm close to, right? On the YouTube scene. They always talk about our academy, La Masia. Omar, how do you guys always produce this talent and this and this and this? I'm like, yes, our academy is incredible, bro. We have, if we are arguably the best. I mean, in fact, it's not even arguably, bro. If you think
we
about
have
like
the
the
best.
players,
Yeah,
if you think about the players we keep dishing out every single season, bro, it's ridiculous. You understand what I'm saying? Even players that don't end up making it at the club, they still have a career. Like, you think about
yeah.
Abde, Iliash at the Villarreal, right? You think about
Mingueza, Celta
Oscar
Vigo.
Mingueza, yeah,
Yeah,
Mingueza, right? All of these players are players that never made it at Barcelona, but guess what? All of these players are great players. Marco Corella, another one. All of these players are players who all came from the Barcelona La Masia Academy, never succeeded at Barca, but still had great careers for themselves. You understand
Ricky
what I'm
Puig is
saying?
one of the best players in the MLS for LA Galaxy.
There you go, Ricky. There you go, Ricky. Another one, right?
Mhm.
We have so many good players, and the biggest reason why our academy is so renowned and why we always do so well, and I always say this to people, is at the end of the day, it's because as Barcelona fans, we give opportunities to the best. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't matter how old you are. I look at Arsenal. When I look at the youngster that they have there, 1 year. Every time I see the kid play for the club, he's always doing well. But when he plays for the league, Ateta never gives him a chance. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, bro, why are you not giving this guy a chance? And it's
Mhm.
like, this guy around, you think he might be even older than Yamal. Is he older than Yamal, or is he around the same age as Yamal? I think they're the same age, or he's like a year older, something like that, right? But
Yeah, he's the same age. Same age. I just checked.
he's the same age as Yamal, and the funny thing is, he's actually been given an opportunity. Yamal, when we had those injuries, because this is the thing, from the moment Yamal came to the Barcelona for made his first team debut, I've been hearing about this kid, how he's been doing in the academy. How this kid is
Hmm.
just ridiculous. He's so ridiculously skillful, bro. He's so experienced for his age. And bro, from the first 5 games, I was like, yeah, this kid is the truth. And you could see that the club knew that. Those 5 games, they were like, yeah, this guy's never returning back to the academy. Now screw
Even
that.
with Wanieri at Arsenal, I have so many Arsenal fans. I've been doing shows on YouTube where they say, "Oh, I just want to see Wanieri play. He has the ability." And I said to them, "Look, this is why La Masia and Borsa is the best. Because if they are the best fit for the team, if they're the ones that need to play, they will play. At Arsenal, they'll play Sterling ahead of him, Trossard, all these other veteran players before he can get his chance. They have to try out all the veteran players first. If they don't work out, then he'll get his chance. But at Barcelona, it's like, okay, look, if the Yamal is the best right winger, we will play him. Of course, Ferran can play on the right. Rafinha
Hmm.
can play on the right. You could play Pau Victor there, maybe Denny Olmo as well. But look, Yamal is the next best player to play naturally on the right hand side. We're gonna give him a chance, and look where it's taking us now. That's the difference between Barcelona and all the other top clubs when it comes to talent. Look at Chelsea for
You
example,
give
because they
opportunities.
produce yeah, because
Opportunities is what is important.
exactly like Chelsea they
Mhm.
produce good players. Cobham I think is what their academy is called. They produce good players. You see Tamori playing,
Mhm.
Tammy Abraham, Mason Mount. So they produce good players, but they don't really have the chance at Chelsea because they have so many first team players. They have to all get minutes and they get big bucks and they get the priority. But
Yep.
Barcelona is different. If you're good enough, you will play. If you're the best option, the most natural option, you will get the chance.
Bro, it's the same thing where if you're good enough, you're old enough at Barcelona. That's it. Like, at the end of the day, I've always said this, right? And big up to Godfrey. He says 1 year he would be starting for Barcelona, at least giving some good minutes. I think he would have been given good minutes if he is good enough. If he's good enough, especially in the injury classes that we have, if he is actually a good player, he would have been given an opportunity. You understand what I'm saying? And if he
Yeah.
takes his opportunity, look at Pablo Torre. Pablo Torre this season has been given a few minutes against Seville. He came on the pitch and scored twice. You understand what I'm saying? And what did that get him? More minutes against Bayern Munich. Because that's what it's about, right? At the end of the day, since, like, think about this, Ahmed. At the end of the day, ever since we had these financial issues around the pandemic, right? We've had to get rid of most of our superstars. We basically have been broke for a while now, right? And during that time, look at the amount of players Barcelona have been plucking out of the academy. We got Ilash Moriba. Pedri, I know we bought Pedri, right? But from that moment, from the moment Ilash was promoted to we have Gavi, and Sufati was given more chances, right? We had Abde, right? Abde came in from the academy.
Carlos Arena, the one who plays
Carlos
for Getafe.
Alenia, Oscar Mingueza, Iliash, all of these players, just like that, every season we just keep, like we just mentioned them. Mark, the Chelsea player we just saw
Marguillo, yeah.
Mark Guehi, right?
Ryan
We just,
Jutla, who plays for Club Bruges, another
bro,
example.
you see what Ferran,
Yeah.
bro, you're just bringing up the names now. You see what I'm saying? All of these players, right? We gave opportunities to. We gave these players the opportunity and say, listen, we've heard that you guys do well in the Barcelona B. You've been doing well at the La Masia. All right, here's a game for you. And then sometimes it would work, sometimes it doesn't. Even this season, you're seeing Hector Ford being given a chance, right? He's had good
Mhm.
games here and there. Maybe he's not been performing, but he's been given opportunities. Why? Because at Barca, that's what we do: give players opportunities. If the scout, if the coaches are saying, "Yep, this kid has potential. He can do something at the club, the first team, and all of this." All right, say less. You understand what I'm saying? Say less. Let's
Mhm.
see what he can do. And that's what we've been doing at Barcelona, right? We do this every single season. And guess what? Next season, we're going to do the same thing. You saw at the beginning of the season, Mark Bernal was looking like a revelation in 3 games and then suffered the ACL injury. He would have probably been main starter in
He
the
was
season.
starting ahead of Casado, and that's how Casado got his chance because Bernal got injured, and he took his chance.
And that's the point. And that's
Mhm.
the see, this is the thing. I've always been saying this. And I even said this, especially when that fraud of a president where we had Bartomeu was here. I said
Mhm.
the reason I genuinely despise that man is not just because of his transfers and all this. This guy basically took away the one thing that made us great, which is La Masia, our youngsters, right? Every time we give opportunity to La Masia has always shown us that we have players. Even in the 2010s, people are gonna say, "Oh, but if that's true, why is it that Barcelona didn't have any good players come out from the 2010s?" Well, Alex Grimaldo was in La Masia. He never got given a shot. If he,
Icardi was in La Masia
yeah,
as well. He went to
I-
Inter.
Icardi, there you go.
Yeah.
Thiago Alcantara, I know, was in the first team, but he ended up getting sold. You see what I'm saying? All of these players were all in La Masia at the time,
Andre
and they.
Onana, the United goalkeeper.
Do you see my point? Like
Yeah, yeah.
this idea that Barcelona did not have any good players come out of La Masia is nonsense because you've just mentioned these players, right? Grimaldo had to leave for free to go to Benfica because he wasn't given an opportunity. Onana had to leave and go to Ajax because he wasn't given an opportunity, right? Icardi had to leave to go to Sampdoria because he wasn't being given an opportunity. At the end of the day, this is what is important. I understand that Barcelona were very strong and we were dominant at the time. But even then, right, in the early 2000s, when Luis Figo left us to go to the Alps, right? When he left us, yeah, we're not gonna mention them, but we know, bro. But that's the point, right? When they left, our president, the guy who was there after Joseph Nunez, what was his name? Gaspar.
Gaspar, yeah,
Gaspar.
Paul Gaspar, yeah.
Yeah, Gaspar spent so much money keeping this because of because how basically Figo basically
What did he buy? He
backdoored
bought
his way.
he bought Overmars. I think he bought R9 as well.
No,
Then
no,
they
no, no,
sold
no, no.
R9.
That was in the 90s. He bought Overmars, Emmanuel Petit,
Emmanuel
flipping,
Petit. Who
um,
else did he buy?
bro. Yeah, you're
He
right. He
bought
did
some.
bring.
He bought some trash.
Yeah, he bought some duds, man. I think the only play, you know what?
No, I think he
We
bought R9 and then he sold him to
Inter,
PSG.
but that was in 97, 98. So that was when Nunez was in
I, f-
charge.
I felt like we
Gaspar
bought
took
him.
over. Gaspar took over in 2000.
Doesn't. Yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah,
remember,
yeah.
because remember, Nunez in the year 2000s was forced out by by our
Yeah,
socios,
yeah,
right? Because basically they wanted him gone and he resigned. And when he resigned, Van Gaal resigned as well, right?
yeah, yeah.
And and the thing is, when Nunez left and Gaspar took over, he found out that Figo was going to Real Madrid. You understand what I'm saying, right? So he was so paranoid. He didn't only sign dead players. He also started doing this thing where he was giving players new contracts, where he was giving them these ridiculous buyout clauses, and giving them all of this money because he was worried that these players were going to force out. Because that's why Figo left. Because Figo wanted a new contract, and the club didn't give him a new contract until like he agreed to join Madrid. Right?
Mhm.
So he didn't want to make that same mistake again. So he decided to do what he did. But doing that actually ended up putting us in financial fodder. And because of that, when he left, we ended up having to look into La Masia. This is actually funny enough when Laporta arrived in his first time in 2003, right? He brought Ronaldinho from PSG. And when he brought Ronaldinho, what did he do? He build basically the whole team. Basically, right now, what we're doing right now, where we bought Lewandowski, but we didn't exactly go out and just buy superstars, right? We knew that Lewandowski was a superstar, and we just tried to buy players that might work around Lewandowski, which is what we did with Ronaldinho. We bought Eto this season after, but let's be real, Eto was at Mallorca. It's not like, well, I know Eto was a gunman in La Liga, but it's kind of like
It's like
Dovbyk
us
last
when we
season.
bought Paco Alcácer. You know, he's doing well in the league, experienced player, 20 goals. You bring him in for 30 million, see how he does. But Eto just exceeded expectations afterwards.
Yeah, but to be fair, I would say this about Eto. Eto kind of reminds me of like how Dovbyk did last season at the Girona,
Yeah.
right? So he was actually a top striker over there. So
Hmm.
that's the same thing with Eto, where Eto was doing so well at Mallorca for years. Real Madrid wanted to sign him back, but obviously he didn't want to go to Madrid. He hated Madrid for the way they treated him, so he decided to join us instead, just to piss them off. And I love it. That's why I actually love him, bro. Because at the end of the day, bro, he just did that. He just did that to spite them, and I love it. You understand what I'm saying? But
Hmm.
but you think about it, right? We brought in Iniesta in the first team, right? Iniesta from the academy. Messi was given an opportunity, right? Um, Xavi was actually in the first team, but he
Yeah,
didn't
he was
really
in the team
started
for a minute.
playing until like the early 2000s when we really started seeing him
Same
play.
with Valdez. Puyol was in the team already for like a
Puyol was
minute.
actually playing at right back, if you remember, when he
Yep, yep,
started his
yep,
career, and he got moved to center back by the manager. I think was it Aragones, right?
yep.
Yeah, Aragones must have been the manager, I think, right? And he was the one that realized, yo, this guy's been wasted at right back, put him a center back. You understand what I'm saying, right?
Hmm.
And you could see there was a transformation of Barcelona slowly, and the transformation was working because at the end of the day, we ended up bringing in players. We ended up bringing players from the academy. We also knew to sign players who would work with what we had, and that's why eventually we started coming back slowly. And yeah, we kind of fell off under Laporta, but when Pep Guardiola arrived, we had such a good team at the time when Pep arrived. We had Iniesta was in the first team. Xavi was in the first team. Messi was already sealed into the first team, right? Eto was there. Ronaldinho was there. I know he left during that season, right? Deco was there. All of these players were there. So he had a good team to basically build on. I look at this Barca team and I'm like, Hansi Flick has come in, right? There are so many good players, and I think that yes, there is some areas that we needed to sign. I believe that we needed a right back this season. We definitely needed to sign a right back this season, right? We have no right. I mean, don't get it twisted. Kunde, amazing job. He's been doing a good job at right back, but he's not a natural right back, and we know that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that was my biggest thing. That was my biggest fear, where I was like, I don't know how he's gonna do for the whole season. You understand what I'm saying? And to be fair, he's been doing his job. But you look at our centre back partnership, bro. We've been playing Inigo Martinez and Kobashi all season. Afed. Is this the partnership that you expected to see in the beginning of the season?
Nope. And it won't be when we reach the end as well. That's
And
the crazy part.
that is what is crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you're seeing the job that these guys are doing now, and it just helps us. At the end of the day, this is just good for Barcelona because once Araujo and Christensen arrive, right? That we still have Kubashi and Inigo Martinez still in the team. So it's not like we're gonna have to rush those guys to come back to the first team. They can easily just ease their way back to the first team slowly, right? Because the first team have already been doing well, right? And
Yep.
also, what is important about this team is most importantly is that I feel like the fact that this injuries might have been a blessing in disguise because what it's done is that it's actually given us squad depth, which is something we didn't have in the beginning of the season. You understand what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Yeah, yeah.
We Because if you think about it, we were saying we didn't sign any players, but now he's promoted all of these youngsters, all of these kids, all of these players who've been punching above their weight so far. Imagine when the other key players in the team come back. We will have such a look at our midfield right now. Look at how crazy our midfield is looking right now. We have De
I
Jong
know.
back, we have Gavi back, we have Olmo back, we have Fermin Lopez, Casado, Pablo Torre. Who else? Paul
Pedri,
Victor can play there, right? Pedri, bro. I just
Bernal, who's
mentioned
injured.
Bernal, but Bernal is injured. That's why I didn't
Mm.
mention him, right? But I've just mentioned 8 midfielders, bro. Do you realize that ridiculous squad depth? You could literally change the midfield every single week if you want,
Yep.
right? And all of this is, and this is the funny thing. We were not saying this in the beginning of the season. When we saw Gundogan, I was pissed off because I was like, bro, that's just another midfielder
I was
gone.
actually one of the few people that wasn't pissed off with the Gundogan signing, especially since we signed already Didi Olmo. That was kind of the big debate. Oh, do you want to keep our best player of last season for
Mhm.
like another year, or is that let him go for free and sign a young replacement? I was kind of okay with it at the time. I think it's a bit harsh on Gundogan being
Give me a
let go
second.
after having his good season, but I think it was the right decision, and I backed it from the beginning, and it's worked out now. Now I see everyone who's crying about who when Gundogan left. They're like, "Oh, Denny almost so good, blah blah blah, this and that." So I think it was the correct decision at the time, and I
Mhm.
respect Laporta for having big balls in doing that. And I think it turned out well for us. I think we got the better of the deal as well. Gundogan right now, I said he's not doing too well on
Mhm.
big monies. And I think Olmo just fit the system much more. I think with Flick telling Gundogan you're not going to be really a starter, that's
Mhm.
kind of what kicked everything off. But I wasn't like for like, oh, do it, do it. But like, you know what? If they do it, I'll back it. I have no problem with it. But a lot of people were very upset about that. But now they're eating it.
I look. I'll be honest with you. I was one of the people who was upset
Hmm.
that he left, and it's not necessarily because I think that oh wow, why would you get rid of this player, this and this and this and this and this. Don't get it twisted. My biggest worry was I didn't think that we had a good enough midfield, and I just thought that getting rid of another player in the midfield is not working. You understand what I'm saying? It's not going to
Yeah,
help matters. Now, if you told me what this is what I would be seeing at the end of the around this time of the season, I'll be like, all right, cool, no problem. You understand what I'm saying, right? I may
hmm,
not be happy, but listen, at the end of the day, man, you're right. He's gone back to City. Yeah, I saw him. I actually was doing a watch along in the Tottenham City game. He did all right, but you could see like he's not the same player. You understand what I'm saying, right? And
hmm,
maybe it's just one of those where we were like, all right, listen, at the end of the day, we don't want to keep this player on the bench if he's not gonna get game time, right?
yeah.
Right? It's
On that
just
kind of money too.
exactly on that money too. So if that's the case, then smart move by Laporta, right? But look, at the end of the day, we are. Do you honestly listen on a real? Right, I need to ask this question. Do you think that we are back now on a real?
So the last time I've said this so many times in my videos over the past few years since I've been on YouTube. The last time I felt that Barcelona were the best team in the world is when Messi banged that free kick against Liverpool in the first leg semifinal. I'm like, we are just the best team in the world. We get it over the line. Since then, I never felt that way. I felt like we were a great team under Chappie. We could compete. But I never felt like we were the best because their City were playing well. Madrid. Bayern had a really, really good team. They were a killing player. But I felt like we were a good team. I now feel for the first time since what was it, 2019, I feel like we are the best team in the world. I said during the week as well that if we beat Bayern at Madrid comfortably, I'll back this team to win the quadruple. So if I say no now, I'm gonna look like a hypocrite. The tweet is out there. So I feel like we can do great things this season. I feel like right
Uh-huh.
now we can beat any team in the world. I feel like we are the best team in the world. But now it's about backing the talk, pushing the momentum, keep the confidence going, and keep getting the results. It's gonna get harder from this point. I think January is gonna be a very, very crucial month. You have Super Cup, Copa del Rey, you have Champions League finishing up. You of course have La Liga as well. All four competitions in the space of 1 month. That will be the true telling of how well we will do this season. And
Yep.
I'm here for it. At that time, Christensen should be back. Arujo will be back. Then only two people who are not going to be back are the two marks who are both out with big injuries. So
Yes.
by that point, I feel like we'll be at our peak, and it'll be down now to this team to keep the momentum and confidence going.
I mean, listen, I kind of echo the same thoughts as you, where I'll be real. I think that just like you, the last time I genuinely felt like we were the best team in the world was funny enough 2019. I'm just like you because you're right. In 2019, we were dominating everyone.
The team
You
was
understand what
shit.
I'm saying?
Let me make that
Yeah,
clear. The
no,
team was
no.
crap. It was just
Mhm.
carried by Messi, but we were still the best team. We were getting results. We were beating every team in the world.
And that's the truth, right? I don't think, don't get it twisted. There were other big teams that were good enough to beat us. You understand what I'm saying, right? But I always felt like we could compete against anyone, right? And especially obviously that year, we all saw how it ended, right? And listen, that's why for me, I will always point the finger. This is why I always tell people, I always point the finger at Valverde because I'm sorry, Valverde is not a good manager. I don't care what anyone tells me. People can say, "Oh, well, he's done well at Bilbao." Listen, some managers and they're not cut out for the big
Una
leagues.
Emery is a very good example of that.
That's my point, right?
Yeah.
They're just not cut out for the big leagues. And listen, even Una Emery, right? One thing about Una Emery is I see your point because even when he was at PSG, didn't really do anything there really of note. At
Arsenal.
Arsenal, don't really do anything of note. I feel like yes, maybe some managers, the big job is just too much for them. You understand what I'm saying, right? And the thing with Emery, the thing with Valverde is, bro, I don't even rate Valverde as much as I did Una. I rate Una way higher than I did Valverde because at the end of the day, Valverde with that, if Una Emery had that Barca team, I don't care that he hasn't been doing well with big teams and all that, bro. That version of Messi, bro, he would have won trophies. He would have won us a European trophy. He would have won us the Champions League in 2019. He wouldn't be losing 4-0 away to at Anfield. I'm sorry. I'm not saying we're losing that. We're not losing that game, but we're not getting a comeback. We're not getting that comeback. And considering we saw the same thing the year before, we shouldn't really be surprised because we saw it against Roma. So it's not like that was a one-time thing. You understand what I'm saying? Right?
Hmm.
And that is why for me, I'm like, and that's why I don't trust him as a manager. And look, that 2018-2019 season, like I said, that's where we peaked. Because in the 2019-2020 season, it's kind of like how I've been talking about Madrid this season, where I'm like, yeah, they're winning games, yeah, they're performing, but you guys are not seeing the real Madrid. This Madrid team that you guys are seeing is a smoke screen. You understand what I'm saying, right? It's a smoke screen because I'm telling you guys, this Real Madrid team, when they play a good team that can give them a challenge, everyone is gonna finally see how shit these guys are. You understand what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
the same thing with us in 2020. I was telling people, bro, people were like, "Well, Omar, what are you talking about? Your team is still, you guys are top of the Champions League. You guys are still unbeaten. This and this and this and this." I said, "Bro, you've not been watching us. No one has been watching us this season. If you guys watch Barcelona, you will know that when we play against one of the big boys, when we play the cities, the Bayern Munich, all of those teams, yeah, you guys are finally gonna see how shit we are." And the funny thing is, when the draw came out and we saw that side of the draw, I said, "Bro, when we play Bayern Munich, we're getting destroyed." Bro, I literally, bro, I promise you, Hafed, I wish I was on YouTube at the time, bro. I would have looked like a
I
time.
was. I wish I wasn't.
No, no. Listen, that's the one thing I'm glad about because, dude, if I did a watch along for that stream, bro, I genuinely think my channel would have probably been shut down, bro. The things I would say. No, I'm being that serious, bro. You did not want to see me that day. That day, bro, my entire day was ruined. No one was talking to me in my house. They knew not to talk to me because they knew, bro, I was not in the mood to deal with anybody's nonsense on that day, bro. After what I just saw, and look, when I was doing if I was on YouTube and I did the preview, I would have literally said, bro, we are losing 4-0. I swear, bro, I would have said 4-0. And people would have looked at me saying, bro, why are you being so negative? And then when they saw the game, they're like, ah, shit, he's actually right. Because I've been watching the team all season. And I'm like, bro, first of all, Bayern Munich were looking scary as hell that year. They were literally the best team in Europe before winning the Champions League. And
Hmm.
we were just there and thereabouts. So I was just sitting there, I was like, dude, we have not played a team that can challenge us. Now we're playing Bayern Munich, who are literally the best team in Europe. So everyone is finally gonna see how bad we are. Bro, when that game started and we conceded four, I'm telling you, bro. I could not bring myself to watch the second half. I watched the second half, but when we were 4-1 down, I was like, oh my days, bro. Oh my days, bro.
I
God
kept
give me
changing. I
strength.
was doing YouTube at the time. I remember I was pissed because I kept having to change the thumbnail every 5 minutes because they kept on
Bro.
scoring.
Nah, I'm telling you. But big up to Barca React. He says for now, we are the best team in the world right now, but we got to show it on January from January to May. Yeah,
Facts,
yeah.
facts.
We listen, at the end of the day, I'm just judging from what we are now. I feel like we are back. I believe we're back for now, but I just think that the reason I'm more confident now is because I feel like we haven't seen our best team yet. And we're already playing well. So if we
Mhm.
see our best team, I believe that there's still levels that we can get to. That's why I believe that we are going back to our best because I feel like we still have some levels to reach. But big up to you, Barcelona reacts again. He says, "Man, I wish Messi had this squad. He wouldn't have had to carry us as much." I mean, that's true. I think
I
you
think
know what.
about that night sometimes.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny, right? Ahmed? The funny thing
Mm.
is, this is exactly what Messi wanted around the time he left. It is so sad, bro. Messi's
I
whole
know.
time, his biggest criticism and the reason why he ended up falling out with the president, with Bartomeu and all that, is because he was tired of feeling like this whole team was just looking at him to bail him out. He wanted to build a team where he felt like he could just be the creator and then he could just be the one to be the leader. Just like at Argentina. You know how he is at Argentina, where he is one of the main man. He's a star, but everybody wants to play for him. Everybody wants to die. Everyone will give everything for him. He wanted that at Barcelona. I feel like at Barca, that's what he was looking for. And you can see he kind of was seeing that. That's the funny thing. If you saw, that's why he was crying when he left. Because at the end, he didn't want to leave because he was seeing that there were some changes in the team, right? That this team was these youngsters wanted to fight for the team and he wanted to be the leader and basically create the new generation so that he can retire a few years at the club, right? And
Mhm.
that's why I fell for him because I could tell that's how he wanted to end his career. He wanted to end his career where he could leave the club in a position where the club was doing well and then he could just ride off to the sunset. But listen, guys, we're gonna be wrapping up soon. But listen, this weekend on Sunday, the games continue. We actually have a derby this weekend. We're playing against the pricks down the road. What do you think of the game against Espanyol? Because I saw Espanyol 17th in the table.
Yeah, this should be probably the easiest win of the season. I hope we get like 9 goals against them, but as long as we
Oh,
win, that's all that matters.
no, I'm telling you, bro. I need to see it. Listen, I've already seen us beat Valladolid 7.
Even if
Okay,
we're shit, by the way, I still demand 9 goals against them. I don't care.
that's my point, right? I've already seen us put 7 past Valladolid. So I'm sitting here saying, bro, I wanna see the same level because this is the ops,
Give
bro.
me at
Listen,
least 4. Like I'll take 4. Like give me at least 4. Aim
I'm
for
demand.
9, but give me at least 4.
I want more. Give me 5, minimum 5. I want to see 5. You feel me, right? It's at home. We're playing
I
at
know,
home, right?
especially with it
Yeah.
being at home.
Exactly, right? Because listen, we've had an amazing week. We can literally wrap up this week, bro. We've had an amazing, like, imagine if because I think next week is we're playing Real Sociedad in the week after, right? Away to Real
Mhm.
Sociedad, which I think we'll win as well. But at the end of the day, if we can win today, win in that game, bro, literally, bro, it's been the best week before the international break. We can just go to the international break and just enjoy the international break. But
Mhm.
listen, man, yeah. So yeah, my prediction, full prediction. Listen, man, let's give them 8. That's what I want. I want to see 8. 8 goes to
I love
nil,
it,
man.
man.
I don't want to see. Hey, listen, I don't even want to see them score 1. Let's give them
Oh, we
8
better keep a
with
clean
no
sheet. I swear to
response.
God.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. But yeah,
I'll
man,
take
listen.
9-1 though. You told me always scored 9, but we concede 1. No problem. I'll take that.
He said, Barca reacts says Espanyol look decent against Atleti and Real Madrid. Oh
Well, this
yeah,
is athletic and are just shit. But yeah,
Atleti, bro. Atleti are awful, bro.
it's gonna be different. It's gonna be a derby, so it's gonna be more fight in it from both teams, not
Of
just
course.
Espanol. I think a nice little 4-0 would do would do as well. Just gotta score the first goal. Score the first goal, open them up a bit.
Mhm.
No problem. As long as we don't concede first, we'll be fine.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. But
Mhm.
listen, before we do go, listen, guys, before we do go, make sure you guys like the stream. Make sure you guys subscribe, turn on notifications, but also go subscribe to Barcelona Boy, guys. If you're a Barca fan, if you're not even a Barcelona fan and you just love the troll, man, go subscribe to my guy. Make sure you guys go send him some love, okay, guys. Listen, the link to his channel is actually in the title. But what do you have coming in your channel, bro?
We got previews coming for the Espanol game, live watch-alongs, reviews. We got transfer updates coming in, and of course we have a big week next week, Champions League, Sociedad, like you mentioned. So all content around that will
Hell
be
yeah.
dropping.
Hell yeah. Listen, guys, if you guys
Yes,
like
sir.
that, make sure you guys go and subscribe and make sure you guys go show him some love, guys. Listen, guys, this has been an amazing show, guys. This has been amazing. This is probably my favorite show because obviously it's Barcelona themed and I like talking about my club, man. This has been an amazing stream. Yeah, man. Big up Godfrey. Go subscribe, man. Big up, my guy. But yeah, man. Listen, at the end of the day, guys, big up to you, man. Big up to you. I've had Make sure you guys like the video before you leave. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe, turn on notifications. We will be back to do some other watch alongs. I'm doing the MLS playoff watch along later on today. Make sure you guys are here. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe, and peace, you guys. Take care.